GPP, 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 GPP. Last week was an incredible week for us when it came to DFS. Yes, in the biggest GPP in CFS history, I came in first place and third place. Here's my first place team: Breeze, Kamara, AP, Mike Thomas. What a stack. Traquan Smith, OJ Howard, C-Mac, Greg Zuerlein, and the best defense, the Bears D. I also came in third place. Congrats to Cartoon 53 for almost beating me. But hey, we did pretty well. Let's see if we can repeat this week. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are my Week 10 NFL DFS picks. I want to apologize for you. There is tons of construction going on right outside, so I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit when editing and speak a little bit louder, and hopefully that'll help out, but the show must go on. This week, CFS is having yet the biggest GPP they've ever had. This is an incredible site to play on because there's always tons of opportunity. There's tons of overlay because it's a new site and I play on there every week. So this is the GPP this week. $4,000 to total prizes, $1,000 to first place. So I highly recommend you enter it, and I will be entering as well. I'll announce the 4 winners from last week at the end of this video, but we're having another giveaway this week. All you got to do is go to cryptofantasysports.com or follow the link below in the description and enter any DFS NFL contest. So once you go there, make sure the sport you're selected is football. Go to contest, go to lobby, and enter any contest you want. Comment below your CFS username, and the winner will win an NFL jersey of your choice, $100 or below on NFL Shop. Really any item, $100 or below on NFLshop.com. I will pick one random winner out of all the comments below. So make sure you comment below, leave your Crypto Fantasy Sports username, 100% free to enter. Now on to the picks. At quarterback, I don't know if you're going to be surprised by this one, but my number 1 QB is Tom Brady. The price is right. A little bit tough running against the Titans. They do okay against the running back position. Sony Michel's banged up. I think Tom Brady is going to throw the ball a lot. I like James White. I like Julian Edelman. I like Josh Gordon. And I like Tom Brady this game. Priced at only $6,000. I think this is the best value quarterback to have. I like him in both GPPs and cash games. Sure, Mahomes is amazing. There's other really good quarterbacks, and I want to give you guys some other options, but he's hands down my number 1 QB. So some other options are Ryan Fitzmagic, $5,900, so that's $100 cheaper than Tom Brady. Andy Dalton will be a little bit less owned because AJ Green is not playing. Now that does affect Andy Dalton, of course, and we all know Tyler Eifert is out. And that's why I do like him. He'll be a little bit more contrarian than he would usually be. And we can stack him with several options, including CJ Uzomah, and he'll be featured, of course, later on in this video. Other quarterbacks, Andrew Luck. Why am I picking Andrew Luck? Because anything can happen any given Sunday, right? Something's happened that we just didn't see happening at all. Nobody saw happening. And Luck's matchup is bad. I see Luck having an mediocre game, but what we can predict is he's going to throw the ball a lot. He throws the ball absolutely the most out of any quarterback. So lots of pass attempts, going against a tough defense, but he is very talented, very good quarterback. Like I said, anything can happen. He's going to be contrarian because he's going up against the Jags, and that's why I like it. Look, if I'm entering 10 lineups in GPPs, I'm having Luck at most in 2 of them. Baker Mayfield, never really panning out. I did cash with him, I think at least 2. I cashed out with him last week. I did very well in a Baker Mayfield lineup. It wasn't really due to him because I stacked him with Duke Johnson, which was a super duper rare stack, and it really panned out. And I cashed out with him when he played, I think it was the Buccaneers. And this is a similar situation. The Bucs, the Chiefs, and now he's facing the Falcons. He's facing a team that has a high-powered offense and a horrible defense. yet again, now that they fired the coaches, I see a little bit more spark from this team. If Baker Mayfield can get off to a fast start, he always gets off to a slow start and then does okay. If he can get off to a fast start, sky's the limit with him. And again, he won't be owned that high because he never really balled out ever this year. He never was QB1. I don't know if he ever finished as like a top 4 QB even. 5,400 is cheap for Mayfield. Other options include Alex Smith, 5,300, going against the Bucks. And with the injuries they have at the wide receiver position and the offensive line, he will be a contrarian. He's also been garbage this year, or garbage is probably not the right word, but hasn't put up a lot of points and hasn't really pushed the ball, so his upside was limited. But man, the contrarian is going to be so contrarian this week, and the price is pretty cheap. And I like Derek Carr only as, and this is what happens when you enter contests that aren't paid. People will pick Derek Carr in free contests or contests that are like 25 cents to enter. And I wouldn't spend any money on this guy in a paid contest. But if I'm entering a bunch of free rolls or have some promotions going on, maybe pick Derek Carr in one. Quite the punt, 4,700 going against the Chargers. Not a great defense. I'm not picking too many Raiders players. Probably this week I will pick 0 to 1 Raiders players out of all the lineups I do. Sometimes I do a lot of lineups. Moving on, running back, Todd Gurley. Just the highest floor, highest upside, and the price is kind of too high this week. So, but I'm not against him. If you're in a cash game, you can pick Gurley. If you're in a GPP, maybe you pick Gurley here and there. I like the matchup. I like Gurley. Last week I was very successful because I picked Gurley in cash games. It worked out very well. I faded Gurley in GPPs and tournaments, and that worked out pretty well. Like, I did have him in a couple tournament lineups, but I had him in every cash lineup. So it ended up working out. This week the price is kind of high, so I'm going to probably split it up. Again, I might have him in, let's say, 40% of my lineups or a third of my lineups. I think he's going to do very well. There are better value running backs, such as Kareem Hunt, 8,500, going against the Cardinals. The only way I see Kareem Hunt not being a success is if Mahomes lights it up and Josh Rosen just fails miserably the first half. And they just, you know, they're benching Mahomes, they're benching Hunt, or not benching, but, you know, resting, because the score is like 28-0 in the first quarter, which might happen. So that's the only scenario I see that Kareem Hunt doesn't absolutely beast and get you well over 20 fantasy points. His price is actually pretty good for a running back of his caliber. 8,500 going against the Cardinals. I love Mixon this week, but maybe not the best cash game pick. I would rather spend up 800 and get Kareem Hunt. But in a GPP, I do love Mixon. Now, the matchup isn't great against running backs. The Saints have been really good against the run, really good against running backs. But what's going to happen is I see Joe Mixon getting the highest amount of targets he's had his whole NFL career. He's going to be heavily involved in the pass game. At least I think so. Ooh, one I almost skipped over. I like Adrian Peterson in tournaments. He did poorly last week, and he's missing 2 offensive linemen. I still see him having a good game. I'm not too high on him in my projection, but I love GPPs, man. I love tournaments, and this guy's not going to be owned that much. His price isn't that great. There's a lot more options, so in a GPP, it's worth having him in 10% of your lineups. Moving on, guys like Nick Chubb, amazing matchup. But will he split time with Duke Johnson? This is more of a Duke Johnson type of game script where the Browns are going to be behind. I still like Nick Chubb, though. We saw last week both Chubb and Duke Johnson did put up good points. Tevin Coleman, this is much better right here. 5,400, super cheap, and has a high floor, high upside. Great value pick. So I do see him being owned in a lot more lineups, and that's why I liked Adrian Peterson, because his price is a little too expensive and he just had a bad game. So Tevin Coleman, good cash play, decent in GPP. I try not to get too excited here with this one here. Aaron Jones, 5,000. Ty Montgomery, adios, goodbye. He's gone. It's the Aaron Jones show. He's going to dominate this game. The breakout game is going to happen. The only issue with him, I think, a good amount of other people will think this too. Now, he's been disappointing when we thought he'd have his breakout game. So maybe that'll discourage people from picking him. The price is right. The matchup is right. The game script is right. Green Bay is going to have a lead. They're going to win this game against the Dolphins. It's going to be 20-plus touches for Aaron Jones. I see him getting in the end zone at least once. How could you not like this? Best value pick so far for running backs. Other running backs to have, Jordan Howard, 4,700. I like the Bears D. That means I like Jordan Howard getting some touches within the 10-yard line at the goal line. That's how he's been scoring most of the time this year, and he'll have at least 2 or 3 opportunities this game to score right at the goal line. Who else we got? Dion Lewis. It's full PPR. Not the best game script for a running back who can't catch, but Dion Lewis is the starting running back. He's essentially the bell cow for the Titans. Derrick Henry hasn't done much. He doesn't get a lot of snaps. Lewis is the better back, and Lewis is a much better pass catcher. He's going to be used heavily, and he is game script immune, meaning he can play and get snaps and get touches. If the Titans are behind, if the Titans are ahead, it doesn't matter. Lewis will still be involved, especially with Corey Davis being shadowed by Stephon Gilmore. That's going to be a tough matchup for Davis. There's no Delaney Walker. Not too many players to throw to when it comes to Mariota in the pass game. Lewis, I like him, full PPR. That means you get a point every time, boom, he catches the ball. Amazing analysis right there by me. Moving on. Crowell, 4,200. Had a bad game. Wow, this guy's had a lot of bad games. He was destroying the league the first 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5 weeks right there. He was on fire. Last 4 games, what is he averaging? Like 6 fantasy points? That's atrocious. And nobody's going to pick him. The price is so low, and the matchup isn't that great. But with McCown, I like McCown slightly more than Darnold, actually, for the Jets. The Jets should win this game. They should have the lead, and they should run out the clock, and Crowell is the man to do it. I mean, if not him, we got Maguire, so he's a good punt. Maguire is. But 4,200, that's super cheap. I love Eckler this week going against the Raiders. He should be very efficient. Catch the ball, run the ball, 4,000. I like it. Ito Smith, if you don't like Tevin Coleman, you got Ito Smith for 3,700 going against the Browns. Amazing price. I know I'm going over a lot of running backs, but there are just so many good ones, and so many good ones depending on what you're going to do, whether you want to pick a sleeper, go safe, or punt. I'm giving you guys several options. Ito Smith, 3,700 going against the Browns. Jamal Williams, nothing more than a punt. Where is he at? 3,500. They should run the ball out. They should utilize both running backs. Aaron Jones is the man. But if the Packers get a super big league, maybe they use Jamal Williams a lot. Or if the Dolphins score on the Packers don't have a great defense, maybe Jamal Williams gets some run. It's really, really the only reason you're picking him is the price is cheap and you're hoping he vultures a touchdown or two, which can happen. And yeah, Maguire, who I was talking about. Elijah Maguire, 3,400, a super duper punt. He'll get, I don't know, 40% of the snaps, something like that. Maybe even 50% of the snaps for the Jets going against the Bills. That's my cheapest guy I would even consider this week, Elijah Maguire. Moving on to wide receivers, I want to just go for the jugular. And Boyd, he's going to, look, everyone knows about Boyd. Everyone's going to pick him. And I do like him a lot. He's going to be playing in the slot a lot, at least I think so. And that provides the best matchup going against the Saints. Slot receivers should be able to dominate, good ones, against the Saints D. And Dalton should be throwing the ball a good amount against the Saints D. Got a good run defense, not a good pass defense. And Saints should be able to put up points. So Dalton's going to have to throw the ball, and that's the best way to attack the Saints anyway. So Tyler Boyd, obvious pick there. I want to go with something less obvious, and that is Keenan Allen. I like him so much this week. He's actually been very good this year, except for the touchdowns. And there's really not a huge reason why he can't get any touchdowns. Yeah, he's got other Rivers has other receivers that are taller, but Keenan Allen, man, like the yardage is okay, the targets are okay, the receptions are okay, the talent is there. Rivers is playing really well this year. So I do like Keenan Allen in this matchup against the Raiders. He's going to be that guy Rivers goes through because he trusts Keenan Allen. He's going to get open. He's going to run those routes the right way. Nobody on the Raiders defense is going to be able to guard this guy. I like Melvin Gordon. I like Eckler. And I like Keenan Allen. As far as the two Williams goes, Terrell and Mike, who knows what's going to happen with them. Only thing attractive about those two guys this week is their prices. Who else we got? Robert Woods. His price is a bit cheap. $6,600. I love the matchup against the Seahawks. I think he's just right there. He's like lukewarm. The price is good. The matchup is good. His quarterback, Jared Goff, is good. And, man, I like it. I think we can do better, though, when it comes to value. And that's Jarvis Landry, priced at $6,200. He has not been the Jarvis Landry I know this year. And this week, though, playing from the slot, going against the Falcons and the Browns having to throw the ball, I do really like Jarvis Landry. I temper expectations, though, because he's just been a bit disappointing this year. Not many touchdowns, not many big games. So it's a bit of a risky pick because there's other players like Josh Gordon, for example, 6,000 going against the Titans. Look, the Titans have a good defense, but I don't think anybody can defend Josh Gordon, man. And I like him this week, especially if Gronk doesn't play. And to help us out a little bit better, us fantasy players, Josh Gordon and the Patriots play early. The last week they played late. We didn't know what was going to happen with Gronk. A lot of people took goose eggs because Gronk was out. So this week, Gronk is questionable. Sony Michel is expected to play, but he is questionable as well. So a good thing is if you're deciding on picking Josh Gordon, let's say you want to pick him, if Gronk is out, we will know if Gronk is playing or not because the Patriots play early. Golladay, priced at $5,100. He'll get a lot of targets. He'll be a threat in the end zone, has a tough matchup, but I like the targets. I like the targets within the 10 if the Lions get within the 10-yard line. Price is really cheap. MVS priced at $5,000. Now beware of MVS because he is the sexy pick. A lot of people talk about him. And I have a little bit of an advantage because I communicate with so many fans, get so many questions, DMs, and look at thousands of comments and stuff. So I get to know, yes, MVS is the talk of the town. He will be picked in DFS. And Golladay, maybe not so much. Tough matchup. The Lions sucked last week. Golladay and Marvin Jones sucked last week. MVS will be owned, so beware of that. Christian Kirk, I like this because Josh Rosen and the Cardinals are going to have to throw the ball to try and catch up with the Chiefs. I like Christian Kirk's upside. I like that he will get a lot of targets. I like the game script, and I like his matchup. Not so much Fitzgerald's matchup in the slot, but I do like Christian Kirk. I don't think any of the outside cornerbacks will be able to defend Kirk. High upside picks, we have Traquan Smith, who's basically Ted Ginn filling in for those shoes. And by the way, Dez Bryant practiced with the Saints. They wanted him to lose weight, and they fear he tore his Achilles. He wasn't going to play this week anyway, but this does boost Traquan Smith's value. Well, this week too, because we didn't know Dez Bryant was going to play or not, but it definitely boosts his value long term. Who else we got? John Ross, another good tournament pick. Super risky. It's basically a zero floor. Like, would you be shocked if John Ross put up 1.7 or 1.9 fantasy points? I would not. I also wouldn't be shocked if John Ross put up 21 fantasy points. So that's what we're talking about here. Ideal for tournament play. I guess cash game is more of a punt. But no, you know what? I would rather go with Maurice Harris and cash. He's playing in the slot, going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are atrocious against slot receivers. He's going to be really good with Crowder questionable, with Paul Richardson on IR. Maurice Harris is a for sure starter for Washington. Price is super cheap. I love him in any format. 3,700 Enunwa just because he's cheap. I do like him. And I guess for if you guys want a crazy GPP pick, how expensive is this guy? Alex Erickson for the Bengals. Not a lot of upside though. That's what I hate. So this is strictly a punt and strictly a crazy tournament play. I wouldn't pick him in too many lineups. The price though is cheap. And Erickson, I do feel he's going to get a good amount of targets with AJ Green out. Okay, a lot of running backs and wide receivers. I get it. Okay, I understand. So for tight ends, I'm going to narrow it down for you. I'm going to talk about a lot of players, but the ones I like most, it's really simple. I like Kelsey, any format, tournament, cash, whatever, 7,000. He's the best tight end this week, and the price is worth it. I like him. And I like Reed in tournaments. I like him as a risky pick. I see him having a really good game, but him and Alex Smith just haven't connected, and that's why I like him in tournaments. He's going to be contrarian. He has a questionable designation on some websites, even though he's not on the injury report anymore. Some websites may say questionable, like right here it says probable, and people that have entered tournaments earlier may have said questionable. So that also deters players from picking Jordan Reed. The price is medium, like it's not expensive, it's not cheap. So I do see a very low ownership for Reed. That's why I like him. And for a cheaper one, I do like CJ Uzomah, priced at 3,700. No Eifert, no Croft, I believe, no AJ Green. Uzomah is going to be heavily used in the pass game. I love it. Look, last game he played, 0 fantasy points. You gotta love that. That means he's not going to be owned as much. Number one indicator if a player is going to be picked in a lot of lineups, is going to be popular, is the last game they had. And he has 0 points. So I like him in any format. If you're trying to save money, go with him. I just want to go over some other guys that I've written down on my list. Jack Doyle, maybe people get scared because he's playing against the Jaguars. Njoku has a questionable tag, so keep tabs on him. A little bit expensive though. Trey Burton, 3,900. Hooper, 3,800. This one I kind of like. Ebron, 3,500, just because the price is super cheap. Maybe the Jaguars focus a little bit on stopping Doyle. I don't know, but hey, price is super cheap. And if you're looking for a super punt, as in someone that's super cheap, Ricky Seals-Jones, he'll be targeted a bit going against the Chiefs. They'll need to throw the ball a ton. 3,000, but I have no confidence in him. Now, you guys want a crazy sleeper, super punt, super cheap, minimum price. We have Michael Roberts, the Lions tight end, with Golden Tate, now a Philadelphia Eagle. Michael Roberts will be involved more in the pass game. Now, he might put up 0 points for you. He might put up 10 or 11. I don't know. This is why it's a crazy punt, super risky. 2,500. It's my favorite tight end though. That's under 3,000. For defenses, I love the Jets D, and we don't even know if Nathan Peterman is starting. That shows so much because the Bills hate the Bills know how much Nathan Peterman sucks. So Josh Allen is injured. I would downgrade him if Josh Allen was healthy and starting, but Josh Allen may or may not play. Derek Anderson is injured. They just brought in Matt Barkley, I think. He might start, but he's only had like a week to practice, if that. And it's just quite the mess for the Bills right now. So I do love the Jets. If you do pick the Jets, or really anything you're doing when you're picking a defense, try to do your due diligence and at least know who the Bills are going to roll out at quarterback. I think Nathan Peterman would be my ideal choice if I have the Jets D. My second favorite defense is the Chargers, priced at 3,500, only 100 more expensive than the Jets, and that's why I like the Jets. They're actually kind of cheap for playing the Bills. And at 3,600, I like the Bears, probably the best defense in the league right now. Going against the Lions, it's a good matchup, but not a great one. And what makes the Bears so good is Khalil Mack is back. They're healthy now, so watch out. Just going to go over some other defenses, but dude, I really, just roll out the Jets, roll out the Chargers, roll out the Bears, pay up for a defense. But other defenses you might want to go with are the Chiefs, but only in a big pool GPP where you want to separate yourself. I have no trust in this defense, but I do like their upside going against Josh Rosen. Bills defense might be a low scoring game, but I don't trust them at all. Not even going to go over their price. Packers 3,100 going against the Bears. Patriots going against the Titans, price at 2,700. Titans may not put up a lot of points. And this is actually a really good one that kind of slipped through the cracks. I don't know how this happened, why they're priced so low. Is the Rams D at 2,400. And I get the Rams D is not that great. You can throw against them. They really only have Aaron Donald. We thought they'd be way better defense this year, but they have dominated Russell Wilson every time they've played them as of late, or basically during his whole career. And I don't see their defense being much worse than they were when they were dominating Russell Wilson the last couple years. So Rams D, if you're looking for a punt, look no further at 2,400. Super cheap, and they should be able to do well. For those of you that like kickers, my top 9 kickers this week are Harrison Butker, Greg Zuerlein, Michael Bagley, Giorgio Tavecchio with Matt Bryant out another week, Stephen Gostkowski, Mason Crosby, Will Lutz, Jake Elliott, he does play Sunday Night Football and is not in the main slate. And the Jets kicker at number 9, Jason Myers. Congrats to the 4 winners last week. Nick, you won a swag pack. Mr. Beast, you've won a swag pack. And Yusef, you've won a swag pack. And congrats, Gravy Train. You have won an NFL jersey of your choice. Hit me up and let me know which jersey you want on NFLshop.com. Make sure you guys follow the link below in the description. Head on over to Crypto Fantasy Sports. Enter in any DFS NFL contest and leave your username, your Crypto Fantasy Sports username below as a comment. That's how you'll enter to win this week's free jersey. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel over here. Yeah, subscribe to this one. Also subscribe to our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. We just had an amazing podcast with an injury expert. Make sure to check out that latest podcast, and I'll see you on the next video.